I'm Sarah Burtch with Kingstonist News. Here are your top headlines today, June 21st, 2023. The Ontario government introduced the controversial legislation of Bill 124 in 2019, which capped public sector wage increases in the province at 1% each year for 3 years. At Queen's University, the Unity Council, which represents 8 unions, including 3,300 staff and faculty members, is hoping the school will provide its members with a fair wage increase. Members of the unions held a public rally on Tuesday, June 20th, reiterating their calls for fair contracts with wage increases beyond the initial 1% offered through Bill 124. The Kingston Police Force has issued a formal apology to the Kingston Indigenous Languages Nest. The organization was holding a community workshop on their property at 610 Montreal Street in November of 2022 when the police responded due to a community complaint by a passerby. KFL&A was hosting a cultural teaching workshop focused on the rabbit harvest, at a time of year when many Indigenous and non-Indigenous members of the community partake in lawful hunting. The second police response was a notable escalation of the first and was said by KFL&A director to have involved multiple cruisers, derogatory comments about the nature of the workshop, shaming of cultural practices, filming of participants without consent, refusal to retreat, and efforts to criminalize the workshop activity. 12 aspiring entrepreneurs now have an edge in the competitive business landscape after completing Kingston Economic Development's Starter Company Plus. The participants of the 2023 Spring Starter Company Plus program, made possible through funding from the Government of Ontario, recently concluded a week-long business boot camp. This training reportedly covered essential topics such as market research, digital marketing, small business financing, and has equipped these young entrepreneurs with valuable training and financial support to launch and/or expand their business ventures. A groundbreaking ceremony took place on Tuesday, June 20th, to kick off construction for Kingston's first hospice residence. After a decade of planning, Providence Care and Hospice Kingston officials joined a large group of foundations, donors, volunteers, board members, and community members at the site of the new residence, which will be built in Providence Village. On Wednesday, June 21st, 2023, the community is invited to celebrate the history, heritage, resilience, and diversity of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis locally and across the country. On National Indigenous Peoples Day here in Kingston, the orange Every Child Matters flag will be raised at Kingston City Hall. The day's events will then take place in City Park starting at 9 a.m. and will wrap up with a free concert featuring Digging Roots at 7 p.m. in Springer Market Square. Shouts and smiles bursted from a gaggle of Pip McCallan's friends and family surrounding the base of a multicolored inflatable rock climbing structure as they watched her reach the top within seconds. Why? Because Pip McCallan was fulfilling her due diligence of being one of 10 ambassadors for the Canadian Down Syndrome Society by engaging her community for the Down Syndrome Walk on Saturday, June 17, 2023, along with a dance party led by Pip herself. Over the past week, officers of the Lennox and Addington County Detachment of the OPP have charged 5 people for impaired driving. Each accused, except for one driver, was released on an undertaking and is scheduled to appear at the Ontario Court of Justice in Greater Napanee at a later date. As part of National Indigenous History Month, the City of Kingston's Heritage Hour series will welcome Chief R. Donald Miracle of the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. According to a release from the City of Kingston, Chief Miracle will speak about the history of the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte on Thursday, June 22, 2023 at noon in Memorial Hall, located on the 2nd floor of City Hall. For more on these stories and other local news, please visit kingstonist.com and subscribe.